Hello and welcome to Stay Fit with Joy, 360 degrees of core focus. We are going to work on workout number 3, which is going to incorporate both upper and lower core, the entire core, from the front, the side, and the back, which means we're going to have both upper and lower body movement throughout these exercises. The first two exercises that we're going to do is going to start once again on our back, face up. Feet are going to be flat, knees bent, fingertips behind the ears, chin is off the chest. We're going to do a double crunch by lifting the shoulders up and bringing the knees in at the same time. So the shoulders are going to lift up, the knees are going to come in, and then you're tapping those heels to the ground. So that is exercise number 1. Exercise number 2, we're going to lift up and hold. Everything is activated, and we're going to work bicycles. Rotate the opposite shoulder to the opposite knee, and at the same time, extend that leg out and away from the body. Okay, set that position for the first two exercises. Feet flat, knees bent, fingertips behind the ears, chin is off the chest. Getting set for that double crunch. And go. Shoulders up and knees in at the same time. Bringing those knees into the chest, lifting those shoulders up and off of the ground without pulling at that head or neck. Using nice control through both of these movements so you've got engagement in both the upper and the lower part of that core. To bring those shoulders up and those knees in. Make sure you're breathing as you move. And hold it up, shoulders stay lifted, knees stay up. Rotate opposite shoulder to the opposite knee and get that nice full extension through that opposite leg. Make sure the shoulders are staying up so the upper abs are staying engaged. And every time you rotate, try and bring the shoulder, not the elbow, but the shoulder to the opposite knee as you twist through the body. Rotate, twist, rotate, twist. And relax, extend it out. Take just a few seconds and then start to get set back for that first exercise. Fingertips behind the ears, feet flat, knees bent, and double crunch. Shoulders up and knees in. Shoulders up and knees in. Nice and strong. Keeping that core nice and tight, nice and strong, pulling that navel in towards the spine. And breathing. Keep nice control with every lift and every lower. Really focusing on that core, doing the movement. No pulling at the head or the neck. Nice focus, control. And hold it up, shoulders stay lifted. Rotate opposite shoulder to the opposite knee. Get that full extension through that leg. So really think about extending that opposite leg out at the same time that you're rotating the shoulder to the opposite knee. And twist and reach. Really try to get that nice rotation. And release, extend and stretch. For our next two exercises, we're going to still be on our back. Our legs are going to be extended up. Our arms are going to be extended up, and we're going to interlock the thumbs just like this, just to help keep those arms together, straight and extended. From this position, we're going to lower both the arms and the legs down and up. And then as you lift, you can take the upper body up to make it even more challenging. Second exercise, we're going to lift the legs up, keep the shoulders up, and we're going to reach for the opposite heel as we scissor kick those legs. So this is going to really engage the core. It's going to be hard to keep those legs up. You decide how you want to move those legs, small or bigger movements as you go through it. If you need to take the head down to the ground and rotate from here, you can do that as well, okay? Just reach and reach. Okay, getting set for those second two exercises. Extended arms, extended legs. Once again, the fingers are locked. And we're gonna start by taking those legs down, the arms back, and when we lift, upper body coming up, reaching towards those toes. And breathe. Take it back and lift it up. And if it's too much to lift that head up, just keep that head on the ground as you lower back and lift those arms up. If you can, again, more challenging, but trying to lift and reach towards those toes. hold it up, reach for the opposite leg, and start to scissor kick those legs as you reach for those heels. So really working again through those obliques, the upper and the lower abs, they're all working together. Try to keep the legs extended as possible, but if you need to take a slight bend, right here is fine. Extended if you can. You'll work even harder to reach for those heels. And relax, hug it in. Stretch it out real quick. And start to set that position. Legs up, interlock the fingers. Take everything back first, and then up and lift, reach for those toes. And really get that breath for this one. You're gonna need it to help you through each movement. And inhale, exhale, and reach. Nice and strong. A few more times. Really concentrate on that core. Doing that work. And hold, reach, and twist. Straight arms to straight legs. Finish it up. Take your time. Really switch and reach. Switch and reach. Feel the strength of that core having to move every time you move. It takes effort. And breathe. Don't hold that breath. Almost there. And done. Hug the knees in. Extend it out. Take a little stretch. Last two exercises in this position is going to be to make a big X with the body. So you want to look like you have a big X with your body, that you're making a big X on the floor. From here, I'm going to give you a couple of options. First option is going to be to lift and hug everything in and then come back to that X. Second and harder is going to be to come all the way up for that hug and back down into that X. And if you can hover everything over the ground without bringing it all the way down, even more challenging, and lifting back up from here, okay? Otherwise, you can rest it in between each one, pull it all the way up. You can rest it in between each one and just lift the shoulders and hug it in. But those hands are gonna come underneath and help to really hug it in. But what's gonna really make you more challenged is to come from this crunch position and into that X. Second exercise, we're gonna come all the way up into a tabletop position, hips up. And from here, we're going to lift one hand, extend the leg and reach for the toes, and take it back down, right to the other side. Now your option, easier, is gonna be to bring it here and do the same move, keeping that butt on the ground. Okay, so more challenging up here. This is called your dancing crab, or butt down and extend from here. Okay, getting ready to start those exercises. Make that big X position on the floor to get started. And you're going to either lift the shoulders up, hug the knees in, and come back to that X on the floor, or come all the way up into that boat pose kind of position, hug the knees in, balance on the tailbone, and then come back to that X. And if you can, just have the lower back on the floor, hover over the floor, making that X, and then pull yourself back up and hold and balance on that tailbone. Modify this as you need to, but if you can remain strong, go for it. Come into that tabletop position and then extend and reach for the opposite toe. Keeping those hips lifted, keeping that core nice and tight. Lift and extend, bringing it onto one hand and reaching for the opposite toe. Remember your modification. If you need, take that butt onto the floor and just keep extending and reaching for those toes, balancing on your tailbone instead of staying lifted in this tabletop position. Lower down, extend, take a little stretch, and then come back to that X position on the floor, getting ready for that second set. And from here, either hug it in, keeping the back on the floor and just lifting the shoulders, or up all the way to balance on your tailbone and lower back down into that X. And if you can, hovering those arms and legs over the floor in that X position, and then pulling up from that hover into that balanced boat pose. Keep it nice and strong. Very challenging move. Do what you need to do to modify. And hold, lift up into that tabletop. Opposite hand, reaching for the opposite toe as you extend that leg up and towards the ceiling. And transferring that weight from one arm and one leg as you reach. Almost there. Last exercise in this position, and then we rotate. And relax. Take a stretch. So we are ready to come onto our side now, and we are going to be doing this from the side plank position. First exercise, elbow directly underneath the shoulder, bottom knee bent, top leg is extended. That arm's going to come straight back and over the head, and we're going to bring that elbow into the knee, and the knee is going to come into the elbow as we lift up into a side plank. Now, if that's too much to keep the hip up, right here, same thing, elbow to the knee to the elbow. Right there. And second exercise, we're going to see if we can stay lifted. Same position, but we're going to bring a straight arm to the straight leg in front of the body. And if you need, hip down. Same thing right here. Okay, getting ready for that side plank position. Extend that arm overhead. Palm is going to be down. Getting ready to bring that elbow to the knee and the knee to the elbow. And go. Lift the hip up if you can. Every time that you bring that elbow into the knee. And again, if it's too much to lift that hip, then keep that hip onto the ground and just bring that elbow into the knee. Otherwise, right here, lifting that hip every time that you bring that elbow to the knee. Squeeze and lift. Almost there. 5 more seconds. And lift it up, hold it up as you bring that hand to that leg, foot rather, and that foot coming to the hand. And if you need to, hip down, same move right here. Don't have to lift or keep it lifted. More challenging here if you can. Swinging that leg forward, but also bringing that hand to the toe at the same time. And last one, bring it down. Extend the arm to get that stretch. And then start to bring yourself back up into position. Extended arm, palm down. Lifting the hip, bringing the elbow into the knee. And the knee into that elbow. Nice and strong. Finishing it up. Last 2 on this side. And then we still have another side before we move on. Coming on those last 10 seconds. Remember, you can keep that hip down and bring that elbow to the knee if you need to. Otherwise, lifting that hip every time for a stronger exercise. Lift the hip now. Bring that arm to the front as you swing that leg forward, meeting the hand and the toes together or as close as you can come. You don't have to be touching. You can also keep that hip down. So remember your option here. You might not be able to touch that toe, bring that leg and arm as far in front of you, but you are trying to reach for them best that you can, wherever you can take it. Last 3 seconds. And last 1. Bring it down and get that stretch. And let's flip it over to the other side. Okay, getting set for that other side. Elbow directly underneath the hip, bottom knee bent, top leg is extended. Arm comes up, palm down. We're bringing that elbow to the knee to the elbow. And if you can, lifting that hip up every time you bring that knee to the elbow and that elbow to the knee. Remember your option, you can keep the hip down and just bring the elbow to the knee. If you're lifting that hip, definitely a little bit more challenging. Take it where you need to go and keep it nice and strong. Make sure you're breathing. Strong position in that side plank. Or keep the hip down. Good, now lift that hip up, hold, rotate the palm to the front, straight arm to straight leg in front of the body, wherever you can bring it to. Even if you can't touch, you're just swinging that arm and leg and getting them as close as you can together. You're gonna work a little bit of flexibility here as well. trying to get that leg to meet that hand and that hand to meet that foot. And relax, lower down, get that stretch by extending the arm. And then we got one more set to go. So start to bring it back up, elbow directly underneath the shoulder, bottom knee bent, top leg extended, arm up. Lift that hip and bring that elbow in, that knee in, and try to meet it towards each other. And again, if it's becoming too challenging, keep that hip down, stay here, and just bring that elbow to the knee without lifting that hip up. Good, lift that hip up, rotate the palm to the front, swing that straight arm into that straight leg. And again, at this point, if it's too much to keep that hip up, right here is fine. You're still activating that core. It's just gonna be a little bit more challenging if you're adding that hip hold in. Breathe through it, almost there. And release. Get that stretch. And we're gonna move on to our final position. Okay, we are gonna take our final position, which is going to be face down. And we're gonna take that bear pose position. Hands are gonna be on the floor. And again, with the bear pose, it's tabletop, but we're hovering those knees off of the ground. So we're gonna do kind of a combo move here. Walking the hands out until we extend into a plank. Walk them back in to go back to that bear pose. And then we're gonna kick our heels into our butt. Now, if it's too hard to kick both of those heels, do one at a time, and then walk yourself out and back in. And then kick one at a time. If you need to place your knees down to do the walk out, walk in, and then lift and kick, or do one at a time. You can do a combo of that as well. Then we're gonna lower down, place one hand on the floor, forehead on top, and extend the other leg. We're gonna extend the opposite arm. So let's bring, for the first set, we will have the left hand resting the forehead on and the right arm extended, and then we lift the right arm and the left leg up and off of the floor while the head stays on the hand and the opposite leg stays down. Okay, and then the second set, we'll switch to the other side and have the right hand, our head resting on the right hand with the left arm extending in the right leg. Okay, getting ready for the first exercise in this position. We're gonna lift into that bear pose position. If you need the knees on the ground, keep them on the ground. Otherwise, hover, hold, and get ready. Walk it out into that full plank. Walk it back in until the knees are 90 degrees bent, bear pose, and kick that butt with both of your heels. Walk it out, walk it into that bear pose, kick your butt with your heels. Walk it out, walk it into that bear pose, and kick. And remember, if it's too much to bring both feet off of the floor, one kick at a time is fine. Then walk it out and back in. Bring it onto the ground, rest the head on the left hand, extend the right arm, lift the right arm and the left leg up and back down. Lift and reach, back down. So don't just lift, but lift and reach the arm and the leg out and away from the body. Hold it there a moment, and then lower back down. Nice strong activation in that back. Lift and reach, and lower down. Almost there. Get that last one in, and relax. Let's sit back onto those heels, and then come to that tabletop, curl the toes under. Get ready, lift and hover in that bear pose. Walk out into the full plank. Walk it into that bear pose, kick. Walk it out, walk it into that bear pose, and kick. Keeping it nice and strong as you walk it out. Walk it in, it's just a few steps out with those hands. Extend the legs, then back into 90-degree bent knees, and kick. On the knees if you need to. Lower down. Right hand on the floor with the forehead resting on top. Lift that left arm and that right leg. Reach and extend it out and away from the body. So we're working those opposite side now. Left arm extension, right leg extension. Lift, reach, and hold, and back down. Lift and hold, and back down. Really let that back do the work to lift both the arm and the leg. And relax, bring it up. Sit back on your heels. Okay, we are ready for those final 2 exercises. So we are gonna start in that full plank position, nice and strong, keeping that core nice and tight. And we're gonna bring the opposite elbow into the opposite knee from this position. If you need to drop the knees and do it from here, it would be the same movement, but on your knees. See if you can do it on your toes first. Start there, and then only bring it to your knees if you need to. Then we're gonna lower down, sandwich the hands, forehead on top, feet together. We're gonna lift and extend both the arms and the legs, arms shoulder width apart, legs shoulder width apart, balancing on your belly as you extend. This is your Superman position. And then back down, bringing the hands together, the feet together. And every time lifting, reaching, extending both arms and legs, and lower back down. You're gonna look down to the floor every time you reach. Don't look in front of you, look straight down to the floor on that Superman hold. Okay, here we go. Last 2 final exercises. Starting in that full plank position, on the knees if you need to. Start to get yourself nice and strong, shoulders underneath, hands underneath the shoulders rather, and bring that opposite elbow to the opposite knee. And a little trick here, if the legs are out wider, or feet rather are out wider, you're gonna be a little bit more steady on this position as you bring that elbow into the knee. If you wanna make it more challenging, bring the feet closer together. So you can decide on that. Opposite elbow touches the opposite knee, bring it together, and back down into that plank. Lower down, stack the hands on top of each other, forehead on top, feet together. Lift, reach, and extend, looking straight down at the ground. Lower back, bring the feet and hands together. Lift, reach, extend, and lower back down. Lift, reach, and extend, and lower back down. Lift, reach, and extend, so we separate, back shoulder width apart, and then we bring everything together and down on the floor. Lift, reach, and separate, back down and together. One more time, and release. Relax, sit back onto those heels. Final set. Start to get yourself ready to come into that full plank position. Hold strong, opposite elbow meets the opposite knee. Legs wide if you need to be a little bit more stable. Closer together if you want it a little bit more challenging. And on the knees if you need to modify. Nice and strong. Opposite elbow to the opposite knee. Look straight down at the floor, right in between your hands, and keep your focus. Make sure you are breathing. Finish it up. Last few. And we're coming to our final exercise. Lower down. Stack your hands, forehead on top, feet together. Lift, reach, and extend. And lower back down. Lift, reach, extend into that Superman pose. And back down and together. Lift and reach. And back down. Lift and reach. And down. Almost there. Finish it up. Strong back as you lift and hold. And lower down. And sit back onto your heels. And that is your workout number 3. Full core, 360 degrees around. Great job.